The Eagles just played their first preseason game against the Ravens. There's a lot of takeaways, lots of things to improve on, things of that nature. Without further ado, we're just going to fly on into it. So starting off with the defense, since it was our biggest concern and what we needed to improve the biggest on, honestly think that everyone played pretty good. Our defense's starters really only played, in terms of like the D line, only played like one series, I think. So, that being said, I honestly think everyone played pretty good or however so. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, for that series, I mean, they didn't look bad out there. I mean, it was just, probably, first game jitters, probably that's what I would assume. And then in terms of backups, Milton Williams, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I honestly think they looked pretty good as well. Jalix Hunt, he actually was pretty impressive. Had like 3 tackles, things of that nature, 4 tackles, something like that. But yeah, he had a pretty solid outing. And then in terms of the linebackers, Zach Bond had a questionable game. Not by any means a strong game, not by any means a horrible game. Lots of reasonable explanations for why he could have appeared sluggish or whatever the case may be. So. Definitely too early to give up on him, but Trotter, he definitely was making plays in terms of the linebacker unit. He had 6 tackles and 1 sack. He definitely had a strong outing, so that's absolutely good to see. He looked, dominant, from the linebacker position. I definitely think that given the right opportunity and Jordan Davis, playing in front of him and Devin White playing beside him, I definitely think, that would be our best lineup, I think. Keely Ringo, he's another person that I think really, really had a strong outing. He had like a really good pass breakup in the end zone. I think that was like really important. If not for what, another person did, I'll talk about a little bit later, he would have been in the MVP of the game. But either way, he did have a really good pass breakup, and he was really good in coverage, so that's absolutely good to see as well. Another thing I want to mention is Nolan Smith and the defense as a whole. In my opinion, that's whenever they were playing at their best, and then whatever happened in the fourth quarter. I mean, not to say we were playing bad, but it just wasn't as good. I felt like everyone was getting in there. Like they just weren't doing nothing. But then in the fourth, they did get down the field a little bit. And things of that nature. So. Next up, Patrick Johnson. He had the game-saving sack and turnover, however, because he forced a fumble and recovered the fumble. So, honestly think, like in terms of the defense, my final thoughts on the defense is that I just think, we just need some safety depth because, I mean, I don't think anyone in this, and I don't think any of the safeties played horrible per se, but I think definitely in terms of depth, we could definitely use an upgrade there, and then linebacker slash pass rusher, simply on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, overall, yeah, like I said, I mean, they started off slow, but Quinion looked good as well. Almost forgot to mention him. I'm sorry about that. He looked pretty good as well. He almost had an interception, so definitely good to see. Um, And anybody else I didn't really mention, I mean, they either really didn't do anything wrong and didn't really do anything good, or, just obviously they're on the offensive side of the ball. Next up, offensively, Pickett. A lot of people were saying that he didn't really look too good, this, and that. Um, and, put McKeon, and this and that. I honestly think he wasn't too bad, actually. I just think it was the fact that most of the receivers, except for Britton Covey, couldn't get any separation. Yeah, sure, Johnny Wilson's tall and all that, but he has to work on his explosiveness, his elusiveness, getting open, and then even then, I do think a couple of the passes were PI, passing interference, but that's just my personal opinion. Tanner McKee, I also thought he did pretty good, when he was out there. things of that nature. Pretty exciting to see. Uh, the running back room in total, I honestly think, like in terms of putting the points up defensively, Patrick Johnson, he's the defensive MVP or however, but the running backs, as a whole, I mean, Will Shipley was doing his thing, Kenneth Gainwell was doing his thing, whatchamacallit, Will Shipley, Tyron Davis Price, everyone was doing their thing, and then even on like the return or however, Shipley, he had like 48 yards, he had like two 24-yard returns. I mean, I think that's pretty good, I think. And he did that twice. And then Johnny Wilson and Covey, that they're obviously making the wide receiver three battle pretty freaking interesting, in my opinion. Because uh, they both flashed in their own way. They both had at least a reception or so. You know what I'm saying? Because I was watching every single play, every down, things of that nature, and I was like, writing my little notes down or however as I was watching. So, um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I think it's definitely between them as of now. Paris Campbell, I know he's injured with the groin. I haven't forgot about him, but in terms of what we've seen on the field, that's some sort of game. The clock ticking down. Referees, all that. Televised. The stats, are actually kind of worth keeping to some extent. Obviously not as much as preseason, even less so than playoffs, even less so than Super Bowl, etc. Um, but yeah, I mean, I also seen that we did like three brotherly shoves. One of them was kind of completely pointless towards the end, just to give I guess just an extra yard or two, or just to test the O line one last time. But the first two were successful. Dylan McMahon, all the other guys, that two brotherly shoves twice. I think that's absolutely cool to see. It's from the backups. Obviously Jason Kelsey's retired. Much love, and respect to him. And thank him for helping us get a ring. Lane Johnson, I don't think he was out there at any of those points. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure he wasn't out there. Same thing with Jordan Mailata, etc. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, weren't none of the starters out there. So the fact third stringers can do it in general, I mean, there's first stringers that can't do it, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the O line, and even then, even besides the brotherly shove, the O line looked freaking great. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the whole game, I can say that no questions asked. The O line, the backups, we're in darn good shape. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that they have good backups on their O line and D line. You know what I'm saying? And I know as of now we have good backups. We signed a couple people, and as of now those signings are proving to be good signings. So I think John Ross is okay. He might make the team 50-50. That's my prediction. Jake Elliott, he was 1 for 3 in terms of possible scoring kicks. He missed the first 3 point, and then he made the last 3 point to win the game. And then whenever Kenny Pickett threw the touchdown to Will Shipley, he missed the extra point. So he's technically 1 for 3 on scoring possibilities on his behalf. But either way, I don't think that's anything to worry about. So please don't get that misconstrued. I think we're still perfectly fine. Still got one of the best kickers in the game. Shit happens. Again, I don't think that's anything to worry about whatsoever. My final thoughts overall. My final thoughts of the entire game. I think it was a pretty solid game. It was gritty. Like we were grinding to like see what we had and things of that nature. Obviously, it would have been more entertaining to see at least part of the starters. Like because I've been watching all the games. Like how some teams are flashing at least a little bit. But yeah, like I said, offensively, I think both quarterbacks played okay. Backup O lines played pretty good. Um, Receivers that they could be more elusive. That they could use a little bit of training in terms of getting more free. You know what I'm saying, and getting more space on them. Because Kenny Pickett, obviously can't throw anything past 40. I'll even say 30 yards, 30, 40 yards. He can't throw anything past that. So, um, Tanner McKee, obviously still developing. I believe, you know what I'm saying, he has a good arm, a better arm than Kenny Pickett in terms of range. Accuracy, I think they're about the same in terms of accuracy. Give them each like a 75 overall just for accuracy. Um, and I think Jalen's somewhere like the 80, 85, something like that. 85, 86. But anyways, defensively, final thoughts on like the defense or however. Uh, I just think in terms of the D line backups, I think they played okay. Um, Obviously, Jalex Hunt needs obviously more development and things of that nature. Jalen Trotter in terms of linebacker, he can pass rush things of that nature. He's shown that he got a sack. So who knows? Maybe Vic Fangio's drawing up new packages or however, based on what he's going to see in the preseason. So, um, yeah. In terms of the other linebackers, Ben Van Sumeren, he actually looked pretty good in my mind. He looked like he belonged out there. Bond, he looked okay. I'm not going to write him off yet. He didn't look completely horrible. Lots of explainable things, maybe scheme issues or coverages or however. You never know. It could have just been wrong play, wrong time, and it made him look bad. You never know. Um, Nakobe Dean, he actually looked okay as well. I'm not gonna say he looked good or great or however. He made a couple good plays. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it is preseason, and taking it with a grain of salt. But um, secondary, you know what I'm saying. Quinyon Mitchell, like I said, he played good. Things of that nature. Um, uh, Eli Ricks, like I said, if not for Patrick Johnson, he'd be the MVP or however, but on the defensive side anyway. But yeah, yeah, it was a pretty good game overall. It was gritty, hard-working game. Everyone's trying to earn their spot, but yeah, I mean, receivers could be a little more elusive in terms of like the 3 and the 4. Um, Maybe the more depth with pass rush in terms of defense. If I could pick 1 and 1 on offense, maybe one more good receiver. You know what I'm saying? And then on defense, maybe one more good pass rusher, so it'll take pressure off the linebackers and safeties and things of that nature. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I think it's gonna do it for today's video. Those are my kind of like my final thoughts on basically what I seen from my opinion. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Share all your friends, things of that nature. If they're Philadelphia fans, and if they're not, like I don't try to talk crap on other teams, or unless it's the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. But if it's any other team, I try to be humble and respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because anything can happen. But yeah, the Cowboys are just garbage. We can all agree on that. But yeah, fly Eagles fly. God bless. Philly out. Peace. Little post credit scene for you guys. Like I said, tomorrow, the 11th at 3 p.m. Probably at like 2:45. I'm gonna have like the little pre-show or however, like basically introducing what we're gonna talk about or however, and drop hints on who the special guest is, and then I'll obviously go live, and then I'll bring him on, and then uh, yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in tomorrow for my first ever live stream, things of that nature. Super excited to see you guys and hear what you guys got to say in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. God bless. Peace.